The first 6 months, I didn't manage one sale. Nothing. They wanted up to around 300 bottles of Cristal champagne. If I don't come through, they are going to look stupid.
Today's guest has turned one of the oldest world's pleasures into one of its most powerful businesses. From homemade wine in his father's garage to supplying the world's most luxurious super yachts, and Azzopardi has proven that passion, patience, and a little bit of madness can take you anywhere. At age 40, he started a fine wine company settling elite clients across the Mediterranean.
When you become an entrepreneur, the financial backing is now you.
From Michelin star restaurants to private collectors. He's now the founder, storyteller, and entrepreneur of the year 2023. He joins us to uncork real stories, the lows.
My mom passed away in 2005, so that was probably the lowest stuff felt in my life.
The wins.
And within a year and a half, we're making 1.5 million euros turnover.
And also the moments that made him who he is today.
We learned what the problem was in the 7th month.
What was the problem, if I may ask? Andrew, let's start from the heart, not just business. Your love for wine began in your father's garage, you can say.
Possibly, yes.
Possibly. Do you remember the smell, the atmosphere in the beginning of your journey?
Like it was yesterday.
Young Andrew.
It's young Andrew. A couple of years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was some of the best times of my life. I had a happy childhood, and my father used to invite his in-laws, my mother's brothers and sisters, over to our house every Sunday during the summer. So you pick the grapes in August, September in Malta, and that means by end August, September we're making wine in the garage. But it was a whole family affair. So for me, that brings me back to my happy days in my childhood. Lots of fun, lots of laughter, lots of joking, swimming, playing water polo with my aunts and uncles. It was just really, really fun times. So the wine was, I was a little bit too young to actually appreciate the wine. So I still remember threading the grapes and jumping on the grapes.
May I ask, because you're getting
fun.
You're getting to it. What was the process? So you're a big family. I'm really curious about this. You're a big family.
Yeah,
And obviously,
pretty
exactly. You're a pretty big family. So obviously not everyone's jumping on the grapes.
No.
So
It
what
was
the
generally
process?
the kids and the women that would jump on the grapes.
All right.
We had to choose. So when you're chosen to jump on the grapes, it's like
It's fun.
It's really nice.
fun.
You're the chosen one to jump on the grapes this time. Obviously, you have to wash your feet,
Of course.
jump into the tank, and spend a couple of minutes, 5-10 minutes jumping on the grapes, which was fun, which was a good laugh. Then straight after that, you wash your feet again and jump back into the pool. So it was all part of the fun. And then you go down a little bit later and you see them playing around with the chemicals and the fermentation and how it goes through. And then they used to add sugar. It was back in the day. Times were slightly different, and my father was not as knowledgeable as people are now, so they used to add sugar to the wine to help with fermentation. So you go in and you kind of learn a little bit. But for me, it was all about the smell, the atmosphere. For me, that is how I describe my great childhood in summer.
I got you here today for many reasons, I must admit, but
Okay.
there are 2 reasons. Okay, obviously
Okay.
my wine knowledge, and I believe that wine is super important in our lives. I believe when it comes to building relationships, through business, through love, through anything involved, business deals, anything.
Absolutely.
And the knowledge, for many of us, drinking the wine, we don't appreciate it much.
Yes.
So that's why I got you here today. Also, another point is that when people are turning into their 40s, they tend to
My
die
age.
down. But you took the leap and decided to focus on something different, which we're going to later.
Okay.
So you built your life around in your 40s, I believe.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Maybe a bit of a late starter.
Late start, but you took the risk.
I took the risk.
Young Andrew, you are still young. Let's say in your 20s, 25.
Okay, so a bit older than when I was trading grapes with my father.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was young.
That was young. That was really young.
But now we're young.
Yeah, exactly. That was black and white TV.
you were into the catering business.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, I first started when I went to college, junior college. I was interested in architecture, or I thought I was interested in architecture, and I read my first book on architecture and I realized it's really not for me. So I was probably one of those lost junior college kids that had no idea where I was going or what I wanted to do with my life. Now I don't look back and regret it because it makes it a little bit more interesting because I kept my options open.
Yeah.
And then I went to ITS
Okay.
because I think, first of all, my family is from a catering background, but more than that, I felt that I really enjoyed interacting with people. And it was quite a difficult decision because when you're at junior college, you're looking, especially back in the day, it was, lawyer, architect, doctor, of which none of them enticed me. So I thought, I'm really in the wrong place.
To be honest, sorry to
Mhm.
stop you there, but it came quite interesting when you said your architecture to the catering business. There's a-
Totally different.
Exactly.
I went into architecture because I had no idea what I wanted to choose. I felt I was pretty decent at maths and somewhat design till you reach fifth form. But it doesn't mean because you're good at math then you can go into architecture. I think it was, what am I going to choose? I choose maths and physics and go into architecture. It was, you're a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid where you don't really know what you're going to do in life. And let's face it, wine wasn't really on the agenda at 16 years old.
Of course.
So I wasn't one of those young guys that knew what I wanted to do. Actually, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I lost my way quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think ITS did bring me back, so I did feel a little bit okay. Kind of, this is where I do feel a little bit more at home. I liked interacting with people. I felt good at it. I did, pretty well at ITS, and I enjoyed that. So that was good fun.
Transition.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to architecture and catering, as I said, there's a big transition.
Big time.
When you moved,
Mm-hmm.
any comments?
A lot of comment. That was actually a bit of a hard move. I'm hoping it's changed a little bit today with the media and especially with the exposure that the catering industry has. It's not a demeaning job. But back in the day, I got comments, and there was one comment in particular was, you're doing your A levels in maths and physics, so you've just finished your A levels in maths and physics. You could go into architecture, engineering, and you've chosen to go peel potatoes in a restaurant. And that was quite hard. But I still went for it. I'm like, architecture is not for me. We'll try ITS. Hopefully, it's not potato peeling. I'm looking into management, but there's nothing wrong with that anyway. If that's where I feel most comfortable. So yes, there were few people that judged me and said, is this really the move that you want? So that was hard, but you just plow through. Go with your heart a bit.
After seeing yourself succeed in the catering business, did you feel you were yourself?
Yes. I love challenges, so it's a little bit strange in the sense that I was loving the industry. I loved the interaction with clients and peers and the whole industry, but I kept feeling that there was a ceiling. So I was bouncing from job to job. I worked in the kitchen. I loved it, but there's a ceiling. You become the chef of a small restaurant. I felt it's not really my calling. Then you become a restaurant manager, and you think, okay, I'm a restaurant manager now. Where am I going to be in 10, 15, 20 years' time? Will I still be a restaurant manager? Do I want to own a restaurant? Something told me I didn't want to own a restaurant either. So then I got lost along the way again.
At what age, if I may ask?
I got lost along the way. I was 24, 25. So and that's usually an age where people are starting to settle down, or at least know where they're going, what they're going in for. They're at university in their later years, so they're rather settled. At 24, 25, I finished ITS and I finished catering and all that, and I thought, I'm kind of lost again. So I went into event management, which I actually super loved, and it gave me a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, organizing events, corporate events, high net worth individual events, and that was the first time I had my experiences with high net worth individuals. We're speaking some really super top, some of the most luxurious events in Malta at the time. So that was really good fun. And then I roped back in studies again. So I said, okay, I have my ITS. I'm back in business. I'm doing, event management. But I needed another challenge. I wanted to go further in life.
Yeah.
Again, I felt like there's
There was
a ceiling. Another
exactly,
ceiling.
exactly.
A ceiling which I created. But I felt there was another ceiling. So that was the time when correspondence MBAs were pretty much in vogue. So I did my MBA, my business administration, master in business administration, as a correspondent. So whilst working, I also went back to studying. And I think that gave me a lot of insights. That's when I felt, okay, now I have a bit more of a foundation. So I have the foundation on ITS, which is the hospitality side. Then I brought in the foundation on business, and, maybe combining both will bring me to my right path, so to speak.
Vintage 82. Probably your life-changing start to life, you can say.
Pretty much. I'm hoping this is when everything comes home, type of thing. Hopefully this is the home run. Well, the home run. It's a very long process. So after working in event management, and then I went into business, totally left the hospitality industry. I left the catering industry. I wanted to discover something new. And I went into managing small businesses, startups. So I got a bit into the startup world, starting businesses, but not as an entrepreneur, as an intrapreneur. It would be a large corporate, a large company, or mid to large company in Malta. And I was the guy that would kind of try and start a new business on their behalf. And that was really exciting. These were businesses that I didn't even hear of before. So one of the businesses was actually buying and selling wines and spirits on an international scale. I knew wines and spirits, but I had no experience in selling wines and spirits internationally, selling wines and spirits to Hong Kong, to Australia, to America, in pallet loads and container loads. So that was all new. I didn't even know what Incoterms were, basically, how your shipments were, whether you're paying your shipment upon purchase, upon arrival at destination. Is it insured? Is it not? So these were total new business, which again now ropes back into my learning curve with Vintage 82 as an importer. So everything kind of builds towards Vintage 82. I kind of brought everything in. But I think these years were really key for my growth as an individual in business, because you kind of put a bit in the deep end. Now it's true that you're creating a business on behalf of somebody else, but you're put in the deep end because you don't know where this is going to go. And to a certain extent, they don't know where this is going to go either. So they put you there, say, listen, we think we can create a business buying and selling wines and spirits internationally. Can you do it for us? Yes, I'll try. Do you know how it works? We don't. You need to learn how it works, and we'll see if it works. So you kind of spend 6-8 months literally learning how it works. The first business I started, the first 6 months, I didn't manage one sale. Nothing.
6 months?
6 months. Till obviously the CEO came up to me and said, listen, okay, we're at the 6th month. So far we haven't managed. We're trying our best. If we don't manage in another 2 months, we're obviously going to have to call it quits. On the 7th month, we closed our first sale. And within a year and a half, we're making, 1.5 million euros turnover. So,
wow.
But that taught me patience. So for me, 6 months not managing a sale is probably game over. At least that's what I thought. But then we managed to convert it. We learned what the problem was in the 7th month, and things kind of fell into place.
What was the problem, if I may ask?
Generalize it. Okay, so it's actually margins, where you're used to putting a certain margin on a product where you want to make it viable. Now, if I'm selling a bottle of wine, there has to be a certain margin on this bottle of wine. but I am selling 1 bottle of wine to 6 bottles of wine. When you're selling by the container load or by the pallet load, your margin is minuscule for it to work, but now you're selling in volume.
Okay.
So I started off, you think, for example, I thought a 10% margin makes sense. Even a 10% margin was way too high for the industry. We used to work on, 5% margins, but you're working on big volumes. So, and then it kind of makes sense. It can be a little bit high risk, so you've got to be extremely careful and, cover your butt quite a bit. But that's, part of the learning curve. But you think, even the difference between a 5% and a 7% margin could mean the difference between a sale or no sale. Choosing the right shipping company. If you choose a shipping company just out of relationship that don't have the sharpest prices, you've lost a sale, and you can lose a sale on 100 euros shipping, which is crazy. So yes, very tight margins.
That's a really good lesson, to be honest. Focusing
For sure.
Yeah, it's a very good lesson, and if people understand, if the audiences understand how to implement this lesson into their and business in general, I think they could arrive far. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think it's all about patience and learning. So I'm still learning, and I learn from my wife, who doesn't know much about wine. I learn, from my family. I learn from my clients, and I also learn from my competitors. And that is one thing I really learned most during this period. I learned how to do. I learned that it's a 5% margin from a competitor friend. I went out for a drink with him. I said, "You're in the industry. How does it work?"
Was he open to it? Was he open to it?
He was, because at the end of the day, I wasn't trying to take his business. There's enough cake. We can all, take a slice of the cake. I wasn't there to take his business. We're all in this together. He told me, "Listen, Ant, you need to work on, between a 5-6% margin. You should be happy. Cover your ass, and you're okay. But anything over a 7% margin, you're gonna struggle." Okay, so that's the problem. Let's try it out, and it worked.
Cool. Okay, I wrote down this question.
Okay.
And this could be quite a big reflection on you. Okay. Looking back.
Don't scare me.
No, it's not scare. Looking back.
Uh-huh.
Obviously shifted between multiple different jobs, studies, etc.
Yes.
By the age of 40, as mentioned before, you found the home run, you can say. Okay.
We're still there. We're still running.
The love of your life. Okay.
The love of my life, yes.
You can say. Did it feel like you were starting over or stepping into who you really are?
I think a little bit of both. There's no such thing as just stepping into who you really are. You are starting over. I had to start over mentally to a certain extent, because when you're an entrepreneur, you do learn a lot, but you have the backing of the company. And I'm speaking not now from a financial point of view. When you become an entrepreneur, the financial backing is now you. So you either need to raise capital, or you need to speak to the bank, or you need to use your savings. But all of a sudden, you cannot go up to your superior chairman, CEO, and say, "Listen, we need another 5,000 to invest in the business." No matter how confident you are in that 5,000 euros or 10,000 or 100,000 euros capital, you go to your superior and you pitch, and he'd say, "Yes, okay, we're happy to put in a capital injection of 10,000, 20,000. When you're all of a sudden on your own, that 10,000, 20,000, first of all, is from your pockets.
In a way.
Yeah. Or I think a little bit of both. You raise capital, whether it's from the bank or other means. And that is, there's a little bit of a mind shift over there. That's probably where I felt I was starting afresh. But I wasn't starting in an industry that I had no idea about. So unlike the buying and selling of wines and spirits at the previous job, where I had absolutely no idea what I was doing till I learned it, I already had a little bit of knowledge. So at least that made it somewhat easier for me to balance what is new and what isn't new. If it was all totally new, it would have been even more overwhelming and exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, you mentioned a very good point before, where when you transitioned into event management,
yes,
you met possibly huge investors, CEOs.
I met high net worth individuals,
Okay,
yes,
let's-
and CEOs.
Let's say that. Yes.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Yes,
Everyone has his "what the hell am I doing" goal. Sometimes. So
every day.
Exactly. Every day. But sometimes there's the point where you say, okay, we're handling situations. It's doing well.
Absolutely.
So it's fine. Toughest day.
I think it's a roller coaster. It really is a roller coaster. There was an Instagram reel recently that I came across while scrolling, which is my day as an entrepreneur, and you're just being knocked around from every angle, and you go from super happy to celebration to sad, all sometimes in the morning. You think, this is crazy. It is an emotional roller coaster. At the same time, it's fun. But I think what I would take out of this is you have to focus on what you can change and what you can do, and not what you cannot do. So that's one, and two is focus on the long term. So there are problems, and there are problems I'm going to have happen on a daily basis, but my decision in solving the problem is generally how am I going to solve it in the long term, not in the short term. Sometimes, okay, you do need to fill the holes a little bit, but generally I try and look at the long term and say, okay, this is just a bump in the road, and you really can't get fixated on that. And I think I thank my ex-bosses with this, because you do learn from them, and there are these little nuggets of information, nuggets of advice that they give you when you were, their manager or their subordinate, where they stick things like celebrate your wins. And as a person, I didn't used to celebrate my wins at all. It's a win. What's the next win?
It happens to me so many times.
All the time, and it's normal.
Healthy or not?
You need to celebrate your wins.
Okay.
Do celebrate them. Now, whether it's stopping and phoning your best friend and saying, yeah, what happened? This was really great. Celebrate it, go out to eat, open a bottle of champagne. It doesn't need to be a huge celebration. You don't need to go on holiday, but even just stop, take stock of what you did. I succeeded in doing this. Give yourself a small pat on the back and move on. But do give yourself that pat on the back. It's really important, because you're going to get knocked down again. Now, you can't just look in the mirror and say, I'm getting knocked down. You need to look at, I succeeded as well. So you really need to balance that. And that's a nugget of information I got from an ex-boss. He told me, celebrate your wins. Don't forget that. So enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. And come back later in 10 minutes and, get back into the work. But make sure you do. Luca, I'm going to challenge you. I've got 2 challenges for you. I've prepared 2 really interesting challenges, and I actually can't wait to see how they pan out.
I think you're the first person who's going to challenge me. So, no, there's Joe, who body shotted me.
That was a tough challenge.
Yeah,
So I think this is going to be a much easier challenge.
All right.
And
That can get me dizzy.
This might get you dizzy as well, though.
Let's go for it.
So the second challenge I'll explain to you a little bit later.
Yeah.
The first challenge is a bit on the way we determine, or the way you are going to determine the price according to what you're tasting. So I've got 3 wines. One is at €20, which is already a pretty decent, good quality wine.
Yeah.
Then the next wine is €35, and another wine is €60. So we've got some really premium wines. Can you guess which is which? So I've got them blind here. I've covered them, and you're gonna tell me which you think.
Yeah. So cheap versus expensive.
Cheap versus expensive.
Okay. So
for you, without I mean, with your knowledge of wine.
So let's go for number 1.
We're gonna start with number 1. We don't know what price this one is,
Exactly,
but we just know it's number 1.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll put number 1 over here.
The color is nice.
The color is nice.
That's
a good start.
You see?
At least.
Yeah. So that's number 2.
This is number 2.
And 3.
And number 3. The quality of the wine vis-a-vis the price. So they obviously put up the price because they went into more detail in making that
Super.
wine. Obviously, it should be a slightly better terroir, for example.
Super.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do you want to start?
So this is one.
Start your
So,
table. So you got 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3. Okay. You're gonna taste with me, right?
It's my job, no?
Okay. So as I can see, these two have the same color. This is lighter. So let's go for number 1.
So this is number 1.
Yeah. Can
There
have
we
it there.
go.
Exactly.
That's number 1.
Perfect. Okay.
There we go. So you've already noticed something with the color.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Cheers, number 1.
Of course, always. Cheers. Thanks for having me as well.
Okay, so I'm a very beginner at this. So as you can see, okay, it's light
To help you, give it a bit of a swell.
for air, right?
So you're going to aerate it, and you're just amplifying the volume. So you're going to get more out of your wine.
If I'd
so
like
you
this
can
one's gonna
taste it
spill over
better.
me, I'm gonna
Oh, you can use the table. It's easier. I know.
It's a bit, so, okay, you feel it going down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm explaining
Okay.
correctly. So
Yes.
you feel it going,
The-
there's some
the
wines.
alcohol.
Exactly. You feel
Okay.
it. I like this. So, number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, it's a bit darker, as you said, I don't see my fingers at all, so it's
So
dark.
it's a little bit darker.
Okay.
Okay.
Dark?
Yep. It's definitely darker.
Yeah. Okay. Lighter, for sure. Lighter. Dark
Okay.
as well? Yeah, that's number 2.
Okay.
Number 3.
I don't want to overcomplicate this.
Yeah,
At the end
exactly.
of the day, it's easy, smooth. I'm enjoying it. So I think I found the second one smoother than the first. Okay.
This is number 3.
No, that's number 3.
Last one. Mm. Okay. This wins, I think.
This wins. Put them in order of preference to you.
Currently.
That is how it's.
Fine.
That is. So number
1,
3.
2, 3. Literally.
As in,
1, 2, 3.
you preferred 1 or you
No.
preferred 3?
I prefer.
You prefer.
So first.
That's your preference.
Yes.
Okay.
First, second, third.
I love it.
Yeah?
I love your answer, and I couldn't have wished for a better answer. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah?
Because to a certain extent, it's exactly how I feel. Price determines, to a certain extent, quality determines enjoyment factor.
Yeah.
Well done. Kudos to that.
But now let's go back to the story. Okay, many of your clients are CEOs, yacht owners, high net worth investors, and some, as we spoke last time, drop huge figures on bottles. We're speaking about 20, 30, 35 and 60 euro bottles, but they spend much more on bottles. Okay, you're gonna explain currently, what are they buying? Is it for the taste? Is it for status, power?
It's a combination, but let's start with quality. Quality is expected. So that is the baseline. That's the benchmark. The quality has to be top, as in the best. When you're speaking of a bottle of wine that's 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 euros a bottle, you cannot expect anything less than the best quality.
Yeah.
But a bottle of wine that costs 150, 200 euros and a bottle of wine that costs 5,000, 6,000 euros, I don't think the quality is the only determinant between the difference in price.
Yeah.
So that is where you kind of rope in other things, and then that is the story itself, the experience, the demand, and the rarity of the wine. So these high net worth individuals purchase this wine. First of all, they're going to expect the quality. Secondly, they want something over and above that. They want access to something that's rare. They want access to wines that not everybody can get or everybody wants. We're speaking, some of them are 3,000 bottles of wine a year. Some of them 500 bottles of wine a year. That's minuscule. Liber Pater, which we've only recently started importing, which is the most expensive wine in the world.
Which is how much?
Which is around 35,000 euros a bottle from the producer. We're speaking about the 2015 vintage. he only produces 300 to 500 bottles of wine a year. That's it. And there's something very
Around the
different.
world.
Around the world. In one vintage. So if 2015 there are 500 bottles, let's say that 50 of these bottles have been consumed. So now we're already down to 450 bottles. These 450 bottles are finite. It's not like your most luxurious cars, handbags, watches. You can keep producing those. You have limited editions, fine. But you can reintroduce your limited edition in 10 years, 15 years' time. This 2015 bottle of wine that costs 35,000 euros a bottle, there are 450 bottles. Finish. When they're gone, they're gone. They're gone forever. So you are buying into that. And I think it goes a step further than that. You're also buying into the experience. You're buying into the story. You're buying into the story of the wine. And that can also be a little bit of a flex. So if we're speaking about high net worth individuals, they're constantly in these business meetings. So they need, to a certain extent, you can use a wine as a flex in your meeting without coming across as showy, because there's a certain finesse in wine. It's not particularly blingy. So there's I think a lot of these situations come into play when you're buying these expensive wines. The quality is the benchmark. It starts from there and just works up.
You transitioned. Okay, you took over the market in super yachts.
Mm-hmm.
You supply to super yachts.
Yes.
And I would like to ask you to share this to the audience. A story
Will do.
where they spent most, and what was the situation like?
Super yachts are a different world. Sometimes it's very difficult for us to understand that type of world.
Yeah.
They are not your general man on the street that thinks about it in a logical way that we would think about purchasing wine. For them, sometimes it does come down to the flex. And it is extremely important. So these high net worth individuals, we're speaking people with billions of dollars, in their bank account. So they never want to look silly, especially with their business partners. So just like in everything else, you are as strong as your weakest link. So if I am their supplier, if I don't come through, they are going to look stupid. And that is why we must always perform and come through with whatever they've requested. So if I had to think of one story, there was a super yacht passing through Malta, and I got a WhatsApp message saying, listen, we're looking for a certain champagne, Cristal champagne, which is one of the most expensive champagnes.
Which is? I'm on Australian because...
Well, it was actually Cristal Rosé, and we're speaking 400-500 euros a bottle. It's a very expensive champagne, and they wanted up to around 300 bottles of Cristal champagne, which is a crazy amount. So I honestly don't think we get 300 bottles of Cristal Rosé champagne to Malta in a year. This is a humongous amount. They wanted this because they had a party on board. It was a champagne party. The owner obviously loves his Cristal Rosé champagne, and that's what he wanted. Now, there are better champagnes, or possibly equally as good champagnes. Let's not say better, because that's according to their taste and palate. So I think it's a bit unfair saying better. But there are equally good champagnes. But he wanted Cristal Rosé. Find it by hook or by crook. I want it. Okay, so for us to actually get this champagne, it was super difficult. We managed to get this champagne, and then from Spain, actually from Barcelona, I got these champagnes by air freight. They arrived. I sent the message to the captain saying, your bottles of champagne have all arrived. Let me know when we can deliver. He said, okay, no problem. He said, we've left Malta. He said, because we've got a party in Spain. Coincidentally. That's the way it works. If only I left them in Spain. So they were actually passing through Gibraltar at that time, or going towards Gibraltar, I mean. And what he did was he said, I'm going to send the helicopter back to Malta. He's going to pick up the champagne and fly the champagne back to the yacht, because we didn't have time to wait for the yacht. Otherwise, we'll never arrive at the destination in time. So it's bonkers when you think about it. I got the champagne from Spain, got them to Malta,
Holy.
and he must have spent a fortune just coming with his helicopter to pick up 300 bottles of Cristal Rosé champagne. There are quite a few of these crazy stories, and that is the champagne he wants. Who am I to argue? It's as simple as that. Find it for me, get it. Obviously, the captain is in the same position as me. The captain does not want to send a message or an email to the owner saying, listen, I know you wanted Cristal champagne, we can't find it. It's just not on. Find it.
I asked before we opened up the conversation, about wine. Now, obviously, the conversation is about wine and how we are not too informed and we take it for granted. A bottle of wine is taken for granted a lot, I believe, by many different people. Do you think it's more about building relationships, closing deals?
I think wine definitely has its place in the business world. Whether it's with actually not just the business world, so business world and your relationship. So let me look at it from a business perspective first. So wine, for example, gifting wine can bring in a story, can bring in an emotional aspect or an emotional factor that many other gifts cannot. So, for example, if I give you a 500 euro bottle of wine, just any bottle of wine, you can say, okay, thanks, this is really nice, great. But if I choose a wine that is, for example, from your birth year, so say you were born in 2005. So if you were born in 2005, which is actually one of my favorite vintages, and I give you a bottle of wine from 2005, no matter what, it's going to mean that little bit more for you. It's going to be a little bit personal. Exactly. So you're gonna feel an emotional attachment with that wine, just that little bit more. And this is often used in things like business. So, for example, I have a partner that's into nature, for example, or likes going down the organic route. So you're going to buy an organic wine that kind of fits his style, from a vintage that maybe he has a personal attachment to it, whether it's his birth year, whether it's the year that they started the business. So wine builds a lot on these type of stories where you can get really personal. And that's really good fun. There's also something else in this. Maybe I digress a little bit, but I actually really want to mention this.
Go for it.
So I find that wine has and can make me emotional like no other product that I can think of at the top of my head.
Emotional?
Really emotional. So I was really lucky to be invited to a wine dinner in Bordeaux, and we had a Chateau Latour 1945. Now, when we think of Chateau Latour 1945, that was during the war. When you're drinking a bottle of wine that you know was produced during the war, takes you back to imagine what was happening when that wine was produced. Were there air raids? We know there was pilferage. There was a lot of stealing from all the chateaus. This bottle of wine that I am now having the lucky enough to drink has been all these years waiting for me to open it. It's passed through such a crazy time. Who picked the grapes? This was during the war. Where was it hidden? Why wasn't it stolen? And I am drinking that bottle of wine, which came from that moment in time. So if you just think back and you think, I am drinking a bottle of wine from 1945, which was during the war, and I am drinking that moment in time, for me it's something emotional that you're never going to get again. Obviously, you need a top quality wine to enjoy that, because for a wine to last from 1940 to 45 till now,
it passed through a lot.
It's passed through a lot. So it's gonna have to have the quality to pass through a lot.
For sure.
But it's more than that, because today I can enjoy it. In 20 years' time, can I enjoy it again? Or is it going to be past its best? It's going to finish. One day, this bottle of wine is not going to perform. And I'm lucky enough to have tasted it during a year where it performed. In 20, 30 years' time, no matter how many times they tried, it's not going to perform in the same way. One day it's going to die on us. and I was lucky enough to drink it. And for me, that is something emotional that you cannot get with many other products. It's a moment in time. You are drinking a moment in time, and I think that's something that gets me really excited.
So this is a question I added over this conversation because I don't think I've asked this question to anyone, and I'm gonna divide it into
Okay.
three factors.
Okay.
Okay, so if your story was poured into 3 glasses,
Mm-hmm.
putting you in the
The wine
idea,
frame of mind.
exactly. What's one of your worst moments? In short, okay, nothing too extravagant. What's your worst moment, your proudest moment, and the lessons that tie them together?
I think one of the worst moments. I think that's a pretty simple one. So, unfortunately, my mom had passed away in 2005, so I was 23, 24 years old.
That's why you mentioned before 2005 is one of your
Yeah,
favorite vintages.
so I was gonna rope this in actually. So in fact, my mom passed away in 2005, so that was probably the lowest I felt in my life, which was obviously a very tough time. But I also feel now that, funnily enough, we mentioned 2005 before. So 2005 vintage wine is a legendary vintage in Bordeaux. And it is one of the vintages that I often buy and keep in my cellar and drink, because it is a vintage that maybe allows me to connect with 2005. It's a year that obviously I remember like it was yesterday for all the bad, but I kind of change it now, as in I enjoyed the 2005 vintage and kind of remember my mom in the most positive way possible. So I like to turn it into, whilst yes, 2005 was a very, very tough year, I like to kind of turn it around a little bit and enjoy the 2005 vintage just maybe as a memory for my mom. So it's something very personal, which brings me
Passed
back
away
to
young, unfortunately.
She passed away very young. Yes, she was 50 on the dot. So, yeah, pretty young. Then you mentioned the best moments in my life.
Proudest.
Or the
not best.
proudest. I've had several proud moments, whilst I didn't do much when my kids were being born, except feel like a real third wheel. It was a proud moment, proud to have 2 kids and see my wife go through it. Thank God, it wasn't really me doing much,
Yeah.
just standing by and praying I don't faint. Honestly, I think it was a proud moment, getting married as well. But I think another proud moment for me was, besides those are the obvious proud moments.
So marriage and
Marriage and having kids, those are moments that will stand the test of time. You'll never forget them, till you leave the world. Those are extra proud moments. But I think that we have proud moments pretty often, and this is why I say you need to celebrate your victories. Whether it's I'm down today and I managed to get out of it, whether it's I had a bad deal, a business deal,
Yeah.
and things were going sour, and I managed to turn it around. Those are proud moments, and those are proud moments that you need to take stock of. That there are quite a few for me to actually just mention them, but you should, and I think you could have proud moments every day, or at least every week, and these proud moments you mightn't remember them at the top of your head on your deathbed,
Yeah.
but I think those are proud moments that I try to take stock of. I try to stop and think, this is a proud moment. I've turned it around. I got a new client. Isn't that a proud moment? It could be a new client that changes the direction of my business. So I would stop and say, listen, I got a new client. That's a proud moment.
The lesson
The lesson.
between all.
I think the lesson is, it's maybe a bit more about my character here. So I try not to take life too seriously. I don't like to dwell on the negative too much,
Okay.
as much as possible. I like to joke. I like to have fun, even if it's with the family. I think I try to to bring in the fun as much as possible. I bring in the fun at work because I love what I do.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just fun. But I also think that the way I discuss family planning with my wife, I try to bring in an element of fun, an element of not taking life too seriously. Let's kind of see how it pans out. Let's enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And I think, so far at least, I live by that. I enjoy life. I have the second challenge for you now, look.
I'm excited because the first one, obviously, I won, so I'm gonna win again. I like winning.
You're gonna win again.
I'm gonna
Let's
win
see.
again.
So I came up with this challenge. It's actually really different to most challenges. I don't think I've ever seen a challenge like this actually. So let's see how this works.
Andrew.
This is Andrew challenge.
It's called, okay.
Because I find, and it's happened to me. You walk into a wine store or a supermarket and you need a bottle of wine.
Okay.
How do you choose a bottle of wine?
Okay.
You
can't taste.
You look at the labels. So you are choosing a bottle of wine based solely on a label, especially if you're not really sure or your knowledge on wine is somewhat limited. Even if it says Cabernet or Syrah, do you really know what you're going to get from the wine? So I'm going to show you 3 labels, and I want you to tell me what you think you are going to taste from that wine.
Let's go.
So you see this in a supermarket or a wine shop. You say, okay, this label tells me that it's big, bold, light, fruity, not fruity.
Date, etc.
Tayyip?
Let's go.
Can we try that?
Yeah. So
let's see.
This is.
Let's start with wine number 1,
which is this side.
Yes, you're now. So we're whoops, sorry. We're starting there.
Number 1.
Wine number 1, which
Number
is
one
that.
Okay.
And does the date tell you something?
How long it's been bottled for?
Okay, so would you expect something out of 2019? Do you look at that as being young or old or
It's in between.
in between? Okay.
In between. So I don't expect much.
Okay.
But I do expect something.
Okay. And what about the bottle itself? So the
So
label,
it's
the bottle,
nice.
the packaging.
It's nicely designed.
It's nicely designed.
The only thing that I don't like about it is the screw on.
The screw cap.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
You can't preserve for a longer time.
What about the weight of the bottle, the look of the
That
bottle?
was really heavy.
Really heavy.
It's really heavy
Really
bottle.
heavy.
So I think that it feels like not luxury. I can't say luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The
it have a
feeling-
premium feel to
Yeah,
it.
it
a premium
does.
feel to it.
Like even the bottom, there's a
Mhm.
bit of a.
Bit of a punt in the
Exactly.
bottle.
So imagine I'm buying this off the store, right?
Yes. Are you going to be
Ooh.
surprised, disappointed?
Okay, let's go
Happy?
with that. Let's go with that. Yes, surprise. Okay. Exactly what yeah. Quick question. Price of that.
What do you think?
Listen, if that's lower than 20,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good price. But I think it's in the 30.
Okay, so we're actually speaking in the €60 region.
Oh shit. Shit.
That's
that-
a pretty. And is it the screw cap that threw you off mainly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I look at the date a lot, and this looks like a decent date,
Okay,
in my opinion. So it's been bottled for quite a while. It looks.
so this is a 2012 vintage.
Exactly. It looks old bottled. So the green, I don't really like the design of the bottle.
Yes.
It looks like an old Fanta bottle.
An old bottle. So
So
the label is a little bit understated.
the label is
old-fashioned.
fine.
The label is fine. It's the bottle.
It matches the date.
Okay. Oh,
So,
so
yeah,
it looks okay.
it looks vintage.
It looks vintage.
The bottle, I don't quite. So this the difference is in. I don't know
Mhm.
if you can say the difference in color.
Mhm.
This is darker.
Mm-hmm.
Feels nicer.
Can you guess the price before tasting it?
Price before tasting it. It's a €30 bottle.
Okay.
Okay, let's go for it. It smells really strange though. Holy shit, this is good. This is really good. I'd pay 40-50 for this.
You'd pay 40-50 for this. So it's actually a €20 bottle of wine.
Good job to have done that and selling at that price is a very good job.
That's my opinion too.
Very good job.
That's my
The bottle
opinion.
can be enhanced.
I agree.
The rest
Agreed.
is fine.
Agreed. Which for me is even better because It's priced at 20 euros. But I agree with you 100%. I think the quality is of a 50 euro bottle.
For sure. Bottle 3.
Mm.
Okay, so this bottle...
Look at the label.
Yeah. Okay, so this caught my eye differently. I'm going to leave it here so the camera can catch that. Sleek-wise, I would buy this.
Sleek-wise, you'd buy this. Great. Shall we taste it?
Before I continue, the price I think this is, before tasting, is... let's go with the 30 mark again.
Nice. You hit the nail on the head. It's actually 33, 35 euros
Feels
a
like
bottle.
it, yeah, feels like it.
It has potential. It is a super top wine. It is a super Tuscan from
It feels really good.
from a place called Bulgari, which is pretty pretty obvious from the label. But it's a wine that can last a good 8 to 10 years.
No, did I win, lose?
I think
The challenge?
I don't think there was a win or lose, and many a time this is how it is with wine. It's your palate, it's what you taste. I think you were pretty much on the mark.
Our previous guest left you a question. Okay, he didn't know you were coming. It's a mystery question that he didn't know you were coming, and you don't know who he is.
Okay.
If you could relive one event or moment in your life currently, what should it be and why?
A moment that's gone forever, a moment that I would definitely love to relive. Probably takes me back to my mom. So there were moments where we used to connect. Obviously, I was much younger, but there were certain times when my father used to go out for meetings in the evening. Again, it brings me back to maybe food and wine, but we used to sit down and eat pie. It was just our thing, because my father, till today, is not really fond of pies, or ricotta pie, or whatever pie it is. So she was a big fan of these pies, so she used to prepare a different selection of pies. We'd just sit down at table, eat pie and laugh. It's probably a moment I would relive. Yeah, any day of the week. Yeah.
Hit me a bit. I don't think these times are appreciated as much as in the moment, as much as we should.
No, for sure, absolutely. We need to enjoy them. And that's why maybe you need to. Takes me back to celebrating or enjoying life, celebrating your victories, enjoying the moment, whether it's over a bottle of wine with friends or with your family. It's all about us stopping and
Thinking
and
about
enjoying
what we did.
that particular moment. Everything is so fast. We just need to slow down. Just enjoy that moment. It's never going to be repeated. Absolutely. I think that's something we forget too often.
Andrew, lovely episode. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
It was a really fun episode, like different to our niche. As I said on my socials yesterday, we are hitting different niches. Okay, and we're still trying to see what the people love.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, sports and business remains in my heart forever, for sure. But yeah, I believe that you were the perfect mark to changing the idea.
Changing it around a little bit.
Yeah,
And getting drunk while he's doing
make
it.
it a bit fun. I'm fine.
You're fine.
I'm
You're still okay.
I'm fine. Can I shake your hand?
Sure. Thanks, Lou.
Lovely having you here.
Thanks.
Any last
Really,
words?
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Any last
Awesome.
words to the audience?
Any last words to the audience?
Put you on the wall there. Huh?
Hey, you put me a bit on the back foot there. I go back to enjoy the moment, enjoy your life, enjoy whether it's in business or in life. Enjoy that moment in time. It's doesn't come back, so have fun with whatever you're doing. Have fun doing it.
Before closing off, Andrew will have his own segment on our website www.teamchampionsconnect.com. Kindly subscribe, like the video, comment on who you want to see next, and as always, Champions Connect out. Thanks.
Thanks.
Super.
Well done.
Super episode.
See you,
Bravo.
brother.